Hello and welcome. If you're watching this episode, this is an emergency episode because young Jamie is expecting and has probably gone to hospital.
I'm not expecting. My wife is. If I was expecting, it'd be like that film with Schwarzenegger, wouldn't it?
It would, but except you don't look like Arnold. Mind you, you've got the same sort of chin as Arnold, didn't you?
What? I've only got one, which is a start.
Well, no, you're a bit chinny. You're a bit like.
I'll not get offended by that. But yeah, this is an emergency broadcast on behalf of the fallopian party.
Took you
a second to get that joke. Well, I've been calling it at work. I've been talking about it at work. My missus has got over a section this time round because of complications last time that I go into. But at work, I've been calling it manually ejecting if I have to leave work early. Which some people just looking like you can't say that, and like, I can.
Say what you like. To be honest with you, I have. I've also been grafting today, but not at work. For full disclosure, it's a Saturday, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a Saturday night. We're recording this as emergency. We've not been let down by someone, but we're going to record with them tomorrow. This is going to become a canned episode for emergency broadcast when the time calls.
And so we're just talking about the graft.
The grind, I like to call it. Just if you want to
grafting
be busy,
your face off.
If you want to be busy, if you want to get busy, be busy. You know what I mean? Like my missus is due any day, and I've had non-stop calls for work. And I work for a firm, but I do a bit on the side, and it's just not stopped. Like, yeah, however many weeks pregnant my wife is, and people won't stop ringing you up. Crazy.
I myself have been grafting all week. I'll lie a little bit, actually. We've had it all right this week because I've been sort of just doing the snags, bits and pieces, just making sure my bit's done.
Your bit is it? What's the other bit?
So we're working on two projects at the moment, and I'm doing one, and the other guys are doing the other one. Mine's coming to an end, so it's not like loads of like hardcore days where you're trying to get it all wide under the floor before they fly over the floorboards and stuff like that.
When you said my bit, I thought your missus was making you do something as well at home.
Oh, I am as well, yeah. So although I've had a nice week of not like really stressful work, let's say, it's just been a nice straight up week. My normal 8 hours a day, just going in, just doing bits and pieces and just having a nice day.
But then you're getting home at 4, going, oh, nice. And your missus like that. Mate, what the fuck are you sitting down for?
This shit again. Right. So I've also had my we've been doing. Have you frozen? Oh no. Here we go. Bullshit now. Jamie's frozen because she's closed a bloody door.
Oh, you're back. You're back.
I'm back. I'll have to edit that bit. It's not the end of the world.
Nah, that's all right. That's all right. If we can't re-record, we'll lose the flow. So yeah, you're getting home.
So I've been getting home, and we basically, this is the bullshit, yeah, that you have to deal with, right, when you're married.
Yeah, if you're not married, you've got all this coming.
Yeah, when Harper was born, obviously we had to do the bedroom for her, the nursery, if you like. So that was in the old flat. So we done the bedroom, got that all sweet, and then we had to move out quite quickly afterwards, and we moved down to here. So the first room to be done was Harper's room, which is a box room, because we wanted to have this the other double bed, the other double bedroom spare for people coming down to stay and stuff. Well, with the best intentions in the world, that doesn't happen, does it? People just like, once you're gone.
Well, let me stop you there, because some people, since I've been in this podcast, some people see my you've seen me do it from a garage. You see this one there. Now, anyone who's spotted might have spotted here. See that there? What's that?
Bunk beds.
Because this was my office, and this whole room, my missus' office was over there, and I'd have to have now. I'm trapped in this end of my child's bedroom because she's moved into it. And the other bedroom's going to be the baby's room.
Wait 1 sec.
Whatever I say here, Sam will turn it out. Home.
Technical difficulties. It's called having a child who won't go to sleep without doing stuff. So annoying. But yeah, so you've got that room's been, your office has been turned into a bedroom.
Yeah, so I'm going to have to move out of here. I'd have to adjust my camera angles to get a better lens look so I can appear to be in an office when in fact we all know now I'm in the corner of a child's bedroom.
Mate, I had to turn what is this, a 6x5 shed or 7x5 shed into my man cave because not one thing in my house is mine.
Yeah, I had this. So I live in it. This is an end terrace I'm in, but it's got an extension on the side now. And when I moved in here, I had all the space in the world. I had like spare rooms just for, and I don't mean spare bedrooms, just mean rooms that didn't do anything. I didn't go in one of the bedrooms for over a year. It was bonkers. And now I'm forced into basically what is a 2 meter by 1 meter gap here, and I've got to get out of here, go to the old bathroom soon. So yeah, if you are young and enjoying it, keep doing it because one day everything you own will be taken from you by small people
and a woman. Yeah, small people and a woman. And
I knew it was going downhill when cushions appeared on the bed, mate.
Oh, mate, what a waste of life. What an absolute waste of life. Like, I don't care what the bedroom looks like in the daytime. It's where I go to sleep. I need access.
Don't sleep. What happens is the cushions appear on the bed, they get taken off at night, put on the floor, and then they get put back in the morning. No one ever rests their head on them. They're just display purposes. What's going off?
Nonsense. But anyway, so every night this week I've been coming home and just doing bits on the what was a spare room that's now Harper's room, where I had a couple of guys in to do some plastering. Not a lot, a little bit of plastering. Happy to pay. I was happy to take the first person who said they can do it quickly.
This ain't going to go well, is it, this story?
No, it's not. So this Irish fella goes, "Oh yeah, I'll come out and have a look." I was like, "All right, sweet." So he comes out and has a look, and he goes, "Yeah, 120 quid." I was like, "All right, sweet."
That's cheap for any plastering.
Yeah, I thought it was, and I was like, "What am I in for here?" Anyway, I spoke to the plasterers at work, and they was like, "Just use Easy Fill and do it yourself." I was like, "I don't really fancy it." Anyway, went against their advice, like I always do. I know better, being an electrician than being king of the trade. Being king of the trades, we're electricians. We know better than everyone. So the plasterer come round, and I went to do a private job because I used to work with some old boys, and they always said, "Don't do stuff that's not your trade. Work a weekend and pay someone to do it."
Yeah, I've fell into that now. That is a fact.
So I went and done a Saturday job. They come round and they done their bit, right? I come back, had a quick look. I was like, "That looks all right." Anyway, upon further inspection, couple days later, mate, it's like I could have probably done better. I could have probably done better.
Is it like the surface of the moon?
Mate, it's so like wavy and shit. And I was like, and I even moved the socket down, right? So I moved the socket and I bonded it.
Yeah,
and I left it
prepped it up proper, yeah.
So I left it proud, a little bit proud, so as they could rub it down and whatever they need to do to get it nice and flat.
Yeah.
They fucked that
straight
up as
over
well.
it.
Straight over it. So today I had to go and get some Easy Fill and start like whapping up the Easy Fill. I got a proper plasterer's trowel or whatever the thing is that they
flow.
Whatever, man.
Did you get 120 quid worth out of them, do you reckon?
No.
Like, it weren't a wall then. What was it? A wall, a room?
No, what it was, a picture rail round the top of the room, which is
got you.
So wank. So I ripped that out, and then the plaster was about 5 mil proud of above the picture rail. So that before me, they had only just plastered underneath the picture rail.
Got you.
So I had to get all that out, and they just done such a bang up job. Anyway, I bought a big bag of Easy Fill, knocked it up, and I spent all day filling and rubbing.
Oh, mate, I decorate and I hate painting. I hate it. It's the one thing I don't like.
I'm not painting.
Every room in my house is what, but what I hate more than painting is the prep, which is what you're doing. You're doing the prep for painting, the filling and the sanding. Fuck off. Like, I always end up painting it, but I never want to.
There's a young apprentice at work called Leon, who's a painter and decorator apprentice, ex-Royal Marine Commando, top lads. Shout out to Leon, and I might get him round to paint it. I literally don't have the heart to do any more painting or anything like that. I can't paint.
If you get a Royal Marine Commando around your ass, an ex-Royal Marine Commando, well, he is a Royal Marine Commando, never an ex-Royal Marine Commando advice. If you get him around your ass to paint it, he's going to do a fucking good job.
He's only an apprentice, though.
Yeah, but if he's been a Royal Marine Commando, they do everything bang on, mate. So I just get him round to do it. He'll probably spin what they would call some good dicks as well. But you'd have to give him wets.
I'll keep my wife away from him.
Yeah, I'll be all over it. He'll be naked within a minute because Marines commandos love getting naked. It's their thing.
Oh, okay, sweet. No, that is my only reason I'm not getting him round. Is because he's too handsome.
Get him round.
No, I can't have it.
As I swear down, if you want good employees, get ex-forces ones. Fact.
All right, so I'll fall out with that a little bit.
Go on then.
Because
unless they're a raging alcoholic, of course. I'm not saying everyone who's is great.
I know a couple of people who are big advocates, like who run multi-billion-pound companies, who are big advocates of supporting ex-forces coming into the civilian workspace.
Yep.
Years ago, I used to train CrossFit, and at CrossFit there was a guy called Alex. Now he actually served in Afghan as a bomb disposal guy.
Nails.
So like proper guy. No, like and so he got sorted out in a way by someone else I know to go into the civilian workplace and like excel, because he was always going to excel. He's super smart, super switched on, hard as nails. But he told me one day, he goes, there is a massive difference between giving orders in the army and giving orders in the civilian world. Civilians don't have to do what you say. It's a whole different ball game. It's a whole different level of learning. Like, one thing that ex-forces will do probably better than most is organise and understand job division and what needs to be done, how it needs to be done.
That's the sweet spot. So I was doing a guy some work for a guy today who I'm in the reserves with, and his son come up to me and says, "Oh, I want to get an apprenticeship." And I told him like what place you could go and all that, and pointed in the direction of that. What's his name? The one with the big forehead.
Oh, Mark Allison.
Mark Allison, that's it. Pointed in his direction, that. And
I put up a picture of me looking like Mark Allison the other day. Did you see it?
No, not yet. But I'm sure I will. But yeah, I pointed him in the direction of all that. And then I says, look, your old man's army, why don't you go armour? The apprentice trade's pretty good. And he was like, oh, you don't want me to. I says, look, you won't be as good a tradesperson, or as a person who does a proper apprenticeship. But what you will have and learn is a set of skills that employers look for. And if you do take them on from the force, you've got to be willing to train them up in the trade a little bit more, but they will turn up, do stuff, have more initiative. I think that is fair to say. Not necessarily better tradesmen, though, from the armour, but they will be better at life skills.
I don't agree. I talked the apprentice, the young Royal Marine Commando apprentice, out of being a painter and decorator this week.
You should do as well. I was going to say, what the fuck's he wasting his time being a paint and decorate for?
I saw him, like, because I'm quite, I don't know, I watch people quite a lot, and I was watching him, and he's just like this, and it had this blank expression on his face. I was like, bro, what are you doing? And he went, what do you mean? I was like, fucking, why are you wasting your life learning how to paint and decorate? Fuck's wrong with you? And he went, hey? I was like, honestly, mate, if you can piss, you can paint. Like, that's, he goes, yeah, but I've always wanted to get, like, they always say get a trade and like.
What's he decorating for then?
And I was like, what are you decorating? I said exactly that. I was like, mate, if you can piss, you can paint. What are you going to learn?
Fit as fuck. He must be fit as fuck.
He is. He runs like 10K every other day.
Oh, they love it. And also, but the one thing he's got going for him, right, is he will have been in what we force would refer to like a really bone situation, like sat somewhere looking at something, making sure no one comes along. And he can probably just switch off, which is why he can decorate things like that.
Yeah. And no, it wasn't even like that. It was just sort of just doing it like a robot. And I was like, mate, go and do something you want to do. I was like, and like, because you're spending all day with someone, I was like, well, what is it? Like, I wanted to find out about. I do have this innate thing where I have to find out people's story. And he was telling me all his story and that, and he's like, I left the Royal Marine Commandos because they won't deploy us anywhere at the moment.
Right.
He said, if anything kicked off, I'm re-enlisting, no problem. He said, but I didn't join the Royal Marines to sit about and drive oil tankers and stuff. I'm not doing that. And I said, well, mate, this ain't much better. And he goes, and he's on like 340 quid a week as well.
Bonkers.
Like, and I said, well, what do you want to do? He goes, I'm not really chasing the money. I would like to do something like public sector, be a policeman, fireman. He said, but the fireman thing, everyone sort of volunteers now. It's not really a career anymore.
I know people that have left the force have gone to fire and police, and they fucking hate it. So
no, do you know what I said? I said to him, what about being a paramedic? And he goes, oh, I'm not really smart enough. But then he went away that day, and he went away and found out about like becoming like there is a route into being a paramedic for ex-forces where you don't have to have a degree. They sort of put you through it as you go.
Have I come onto the Decorator 1-to-1 podcast in error?
Yeah, you must have. Anyway, he ended up applying for it because of conversations we was having.
Fair one.
And I was so pleased with that.
Yeah, I was going to say, and you should be as well. You saved him from a lifetime of monotonous rollering.
Mate, it's not just that.
What is it the Decorator was all pissing cans of lager, don't they? When they drank them. Drink cans of lager on site, then pissing them and leaving them around for other people to find. That's Decorators on site.
But no, I'm thinking like, he's only young. Why the fuck do you want to get a trade? Like,
I want to know why he's left the Marines. Like, they still do good trade stuff.
They wouldn't deploy him.
They still do Gucci stuff, and he'd be fit as fuck. What a nutcase. Anyway, ask him. Get him on. Get him on.
Here's another important thing. Based on what you know now, as a spark, would you encourage someone to become an electrician?
Oh, we're talking about electrical things now. Yeah, definitely. 100%, mate. Well, I do, don't I? Because I do all the apprentice 1-to-1 stuff. Why not? Why not? What?
Because, right.
We've got to be careful here because people don't see the pre-record. We don't want to trip on the toes of tomorrow's recording, do we?
I don't care.
We're talking about.
I think this is a subject that could do more than one or two.
Go on then.
Here's the thing. As an electrician, I've been in the game about 17 years, all told now.
Yep.
And I'm at a level where I'm okay. Like, I wouldn't say I'm good. I wouldn't say I'm bad. I say like I'm okay at most things. You know, okay at most things. There's a ceiling to what you're going to earn as an electrician.
Exactly. You've hit the nail on the head. Like, but I am an electrician. I've got my cards, put it on Twitter the other day, got my gold card through, black card through, and all that. But I moved on, and I think we're going to talk about this again when we talk about the what's the sparky word for that on the next one we do, or the last one you've seen, because I'm getting middle of my own head now. But electrician's a base job. I said the other week, didn't I? A JRB gold card is a basic bitch. You need to be looking at progressing from that.
Yeah,
and also, I want to say, if you want to be a sparky all your life, then great. Do whatever makes you happy. But if you want to moan about money or progression, then you've got to get money or progression. You've got to progress. So, if you do want to be a basic sparky all your life, great. Do whatever makes you happy.
But what I'm saying is, in the last 20 years, money's not gone up. Everything else has for sparkies. And what you're saying is correct. If you want more, go and get more. I don't fall out with that at all. But as a basic trade, I think it's worth about 50 grand a year tops.
A job, there's two types of things I see on this year, and I said this before on the Apprentice 1-to-1 stuff. There's jobs and there's careers. If you want to learn to be an electrician and just go into work 8 to 4 and put trunking tray, conduit cables, clip in and all that, that's you can make sparking a job. If you want to be a career, when you come home, you're reading manuals and stuff and books that I've got up here and catalogues and learning
But
more
how
about it,
much
and
more is that
software
going to get you?
use. I don't know. I do fucking all right out, mate. I've done all right out sparking all my life from the fucking second I walked in that door. Yeah, at 16, at 17, I had a year out to today. I've done all right out sparking. In fact, better than all right.
So
Better
do you
than
know
all
what the
right.
average spark? Well, the average self-employed electrician working in the commercial industrial sector on CIS earns
Yeah,
£1,000 a week before tax.
250 a day, 200 a day, 250 a day.
No, it's
Yeah,
not
right then.
250 a day, is it?
I don't want to talk. Right, I don't want
It's
to talk.
£200 a day.
I don't want to talk financials because I don't want to be bragging, basically. But the information from my company is freely available on company's house. I regularly, when I was self-employed, I'm not talking about the finances now because I'm working for a firm, and I think it's not fair to talk about my current employment. But when I had my own firm, I was doing £250,000 a year turnover. Me, a panel builder, that's it. Because I was putting the effort in, but I was at a lower quality of life.
Yes, and I agree. I just don't think, as a trade, it's the best trade to get into, because here's why. You can be quite good at woodwork
Yeah,
and fit a door.
yeah. Don't make you chipper.
No, it does. You can go, like, listen.
Oh, it does at the minute, yeah, because the
Here's the
standards are so
thing.
low.
Here's the thing. You come right. I've got no problem with people coming over from other countries doing a trade, right?
No, none at all.
But Vladimir gets off the plane and he comes over and he goes, "I can do that."
Yeah,
And he can do it. Can't do it like a spark who's done a 4-year. Sorry, like a chippy who's done a 4-year apprentice, but he can do it.
yeah,
And he can do it well enough to pass the snags.
yeah. It could go work for a major UK house builder.
And then after a while, he's getting 200 quid a day.
He's probably getting better as well.
Yep. So what's the point of being a spark for 200 quid a day?
The thing is, at the end of the day, what I would always say is, it's not about your trade; it's about you. It's about how much you care. I found people who realise that I know what I'm doing. I'm switched on, and I demand high standards, and that let my money creep up. Not saying you get that in the CIS world. The problem is the big major products like Olympics, stadiums, office fit outs, hospitals, they don't give a shit. But there are points to trade. Sam is rustling a lot now. Sounds like Sam's masturbating in a crisp packet. Sam has stopped masturbating in a crisp packet. For you audio viewers, it's just a personal thing. It's just like, I want to go to work the best I can be, and then hopefully I'll get recognised and I can earn more money. That's it, innit? It's such a... we're going to talk about this again tomorrow, but I'll do it now, right? Every Sparky, the GIB rate is bullshit. Yeah, everyone should be paid on the value they bring to their employer.
Agreed. So here's the thing. About 3, maybe 4 years ago, I started chatting with Neil Bridgman. Big shout out to Neil Bridgman.
Looks like Desperate Dan.
Looks like Desperate Dan, looks like the Bigfoot, but is incredibly successful and very, very switched on.
I'm a big follower of him on Twitter. I like to see what he's saying. He's one of the people in the industry I look up to and like to see what their opinion is on stuff.
Yes, and rightly so. And so me and Neil probably chatted more than two men should do without being in a relationship. We used to speak for hours at a time. And one of the things that Neil always espoused, and it really is something I've taken on board, is if you're going to do something, don't try and be the best at it. Be the best you can be at it.
This podcast getting well deep. Is this going to be another roller coaster of emotion?
No, it's brilliant, because everything I do now, I try and do the very best I can at it. So I had to write a recommendation letter for someone locally the other day. Sat down, and it took me maybe nearly 2 hours to do, because I wasn't happy with just half-assing it. I do everything I can now to the very best, even like down to the fact that I go training 3 times a week. If I don't go in there and give it everything, I failed.
That's personal, isn't it? That's a personal.
But that bleeds over into my professional life.
People like that are hard to find, though. People like that are hard to find. Some people just happy to get budgeted and fuck off. That's why they don't earn good money. But people like you should be recognised by employers with that attitude and should be paid more, which is why I don't like unions and stuff. I don't like the fact that, I worked at cement works for years. there was 3 Sparkies there. There was me, a guy called Steve, a guy called Richard. Richard, he'll never watch this because he had some problems at the time. Yeah, he never turned up. He was crap when he did for that period, right? Steve, I've worked with Steve for years. We get like our ass on fire, and we're both decent Sparkies, but we all got paid the same money. And then I always hate that. It's like, well, I'm doing more than him. I should get rewarded higher. That's my policy. That's why I don't like unionism. I don't like the fact that everyone. The GRB rate is okay, I think. First year, second year, third year, fourth year apprentice. First year as a spark. Then after that, should can it off and they should go in the office and go, right, what are you bringing to the party? How much do you think you're worth this year?
That's too much grief. Then you become a problem.
No, well, the problem is, what do they want work out you or not? And I've run my life like that. I've just got in there and go, I want more money. If you don't give me, I'll go. And then they say, go then. And my policy is I will always be willing to leave if I say that. I'm not a terrorist.
So since I've been working locally, I've had a very different policy. I don't want to work as an employee, but be CIS. So there is a massive difference between being self-employed, being on the cards, and this CIS bullshit.
That Seagull's loud tonight,
mate.
He thinks CIS is bullshit too.
Yeah, he does. We've got a family of 4 seagulls: a mum and a dad, and Margate and Seaweed. They're the 2 baby ones. It's a whole story. Leave a comment in the comments if you want to learn about Seaweed and Margate. It's a whole nother story. But as I've been working down here, I will contact companies myself.
Yeah.
And although I work on a CIS basis, labour only subby, I will be quite independent in the way I do that. Generally, the company I'm working for now, some people want you to work like you're an employee. Some people want you to work, just want you to work. Do you know what I mean? So it varies on each person. But I've had a number of different jobs down here where I've been able to call my own shots to a certain degree. In terms of, right, I'm going to come in, I'm going to do this project. When do you need it finished by? Okay, no problem.
That's a proper self-employed person. But there's a lot of, I don't want to get deep into this on this podcast because we're doing our podcast in it, yeah? IR35 fucked a lot of this trade up, totally.
I think it did, but I think before that, I think what fucked it up was CIS.
Yeah, but CIS is a scheme to stop people running off with all the tax into it. I'm CIS exempt as a company, which is nice. I don't have to do it, but it's such a complicated part because before I got the job I'm currently in now in the energy sector, I was looking to do a bit of subbing, and I was going to firms who wanted my skill set. They're like, "Oh yeah, we can't pay you through the books." I'm like, well, I've got a proper limited company. I've got a premises. I've got all the stuff. Oh no, we can't because of R35. We've got to pay you PAYE. They're offering me like 20 quid less than I'm willing to take, and they're like, "No, we can't do CIS payments. Can't do limited company payments. We want your skills." I'm like, well, if you want the skills, pay it then. But that's that. I'd love to see the comments. I love the feedback, by the way, from people. If you feel strongly about that, please put it in the comments so we can put together a show on it, because it's certainly it fucked me up proper.
It's a funny thing because we're both commercial industrial sparks, and a lot of our listeners won't be. They'll be domestic electricians. And what I'm really interested in finding out is the difference in terms of take home and hours given between a normal domestic electrician and like what we are. Well, you're not so much now.
I'm interested in industry, mate. You wouldn't do this unless you was interested in industry. I'm interested in the whole industry from top to bottom, domestic.
Absolutely.
I was putting a fuse board in my mate's house today because otherwise I wouldn't know what the crack is. I come on here and slag off the NRC, I was in it. I come on here and slag off the ECA or praise them, I was in it. I come off if I'm on here slagging something off, I've usually done it or been involved with it. That's my policy. But what I will say, if anyone's listening, is please comment more. Please, if you think of an arsehole, put it in the comments, because without that feedback, this is just an infinite loop of us talking. And I'd love to know what's going on in the trade and people's feedback and all that. It's brilliant to read. I enjoy it, unless you're calling me a twat, which I enjoy that as well, to be honest.
Also, I want to put out there an open invitation for anyone to challenge our views. I'm not interested in talking about apprentices and apprenticeships and teaching and learning and all that sort of stuff. I don't think that's what we do here. That's another podcast. Apprentice 1-to-1. Mark Allison, Jamie, yourself.
Who?
Yeah, the forehead himself. That's what they do. But if you want to come onto this onto this channel, onto this podcast, and challenge our views, because I know we can be quite staunch with our views actually, and a bit forthright with them.
I welcome her on. If we don't stick together, this is an army thing as well from me. Yeah, if you don't stick together as a group, you get shot by everyone. So Sparkies, as arts, we're all still Sparkies. Yeah, although we slag each other internally, like our domestic sparks and all that, we're all still Sparkies. If we don't speak about the trade openly and discuss it, which is why I like Twitter and Instagram and talk to the electricians, then we'll never get anything better because they'll always hide it from you. And now we can speak as a group. We should think so. Yeah, if you're a domestic Sparky, self-employed, and you want to come on here and talk about money, which might not be a lot of you, please come in and enlighten me because I don't know. And while we're on that subject, I've got to say a shout out to Burn Electrical.
Why?
For no other reason. He was on. For a start, he's been badgering me to do it, and he was on DIY SOS with me. And also, all the other lads on DIY SOS who were on with me were promised to shout out. I've now lost the word documentary names on, but I'd like to thank everyone that was on DIY SOS in Kettering while I'm at it. Especially Burn Electrical, who I spoke to.
What, did you ask fucking Nick Knowles to come on? No, you didn't.
I can do. I could Twitter him and say, come on our show, but he's not a Spark, is he?
Yeah, no, he's a twit. No.
I will not have a bad word said against Nick Knowles, sorry.
I'll tell you who I will have a bad word said against is Billy Byrne.
Billy Byrne. No.
Bellend.
Do you know how old he is?
Don't care.
Why is he a bellend?
Years ago.
Oh, there's a proper story behind it.
Yeah. I don't just call people bellends for no reason.
As we were just talking about, yeah. Go on then.
So years ago, I contacted him to come on the podcast back when it was EGTE, just me and Rick, and his wife was responding, and she's like, "Oh, so what do you want to talk about?" And we was all having a lovely conversation, and all of a sudden it went quiet, and then SGTV popped up, and he was like front and center of SGTV, and I was like, "Do you know what? I'm afraid we cannot be friends any longer."
It blew you out, basically.
Blew us out for SGTV because they probably phoned him a few quid.
I can see why I think, right.
Guess what? Guess what? How did that work out?
I don't know. Did they? I see a few podcasts there. Are they still going? Or is it just legacy stuff that pops up on my YouTube?
I don't know.
Is this the longest running electrical podcast going?
Yeah, funnily enough.
And now I get to be the co-host. How excited for me! After I don't even know how I fucking end up on here.
You begged me for a couple of weeks, and then I was like, need a host, and I was like,
no, actually, I know I ended up on here. It's because I did that video of the light, isn't it? I know I actually ended up on here. I upset someone.
Did you?
Yeah.
Who did you upset?
Someone, a guy called Spark Ninja. Have you heard of him?
Oh, that's right. Yes.
I was on the Spark Ninja groups, whatever, his Discord, and I was enjoying it, taking part in the community activities, and I got thrown off it because I think my voice was a bit loud, and I thought, well, you know what? I'll go and find some other way to be an electrical gobshite bastard, and here I am.
So that's quite funny, actually.
Hi to the Spark Ninja Discord.
So Spark Ninja's a funny one.
Indeed.
Because obviously my history with E5 is a varied one. And they do what they do, and it was all good. But if you didn't follow their exact ethos,
yeah, I've got a lot of time for them. I just should add, I've got a lot of time for some of the stuff they put out. Yeah, I'm not slagging them off, but I think they are a bit
cultish, and
yeah, like Waco.
Yeah, it's very Waco.
They're like Waco without guns.
Very Charles Manson.
Yeah. If that's their bagging it, I actually ain't got time for that kind of level of.
But no, Sparky Ninja was like, didn't really like EGTE, the podcast, Electrician's Guide to Everything podcast, which is, funny enough, being re-released on Spotify every Thursday at 6 p.m. 6 a.m.
I've listened to a few of the old ones. I listened to the Spark Ninja one, in fact, when you did. That was good. That was
fun.
And
so originally, me and Rick, the father of electrical podcast, Rick, I'm the mother. He's the father. He left me to raise a child by myself. We had a great time talking to Dave Watts, who's
And
Sparky Ninja.
it shows in the podcast as well. It shows.
And
in the
then
podcast.
when we created Monday Club, which was like another episode, was going to be like an offshoot of EGTE. Sparky Ninja came on the podcast.
Yeah, I've listened
and chatted
to
to us. Yeah, and it was a brilliant podcast. And I dressed up as a ninja and everything in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they just. It's a shame there's these sexed. Is that right?
Sect.
Yeah, sect.
SECT. Anyway, he came on and it was great. And we had a great conversation. And then, like, the next couple of days, he blocked everyone. And never spoke to us again.
Maybe he's intimidated by your electrical prowess. I don't know.
Well, definitely not mine. Because I am effectively a electricals. I will begin to listen. I'm an electrical retard. That is a fact.
I've got a lot of time as well. I've got a lot of time for electrical retards.
Well, I am one. I struggled with my 18th edition. I had to guess my way through it. That's a fact.
I'll tell you what, right? This is a true story. So I started listening to electrical content about 2 years ago because I got into teaching. I was like, and I was unsure on some stuff. So I was like, oh no, there must be some podcasts and stuff. And I found Electricians Got Everything. And I was listening to one with you and Rick. And then this was the greatest moment ever. He introduced me to someone because he's on about a tester pen. And he says, oh, there's a guy called David Savory. He's good. He's a good podcast. I was like, oh, listen to him. And that was it. Then I fuck you lot off.
So David Savory, here's a bit of trivia for you. David Savory is one of the original additional hosts of the podcast. Done a small run of 6 episodes called the Rusty Back Box.
Oh, I've listened to all them.
Mate, how funny are they?
It's quality. It's like the thing I was trying to get out there is I just randomly, because of the work I was doing, I was listening to the Sparky Ninja stuff, and then you start getting recommended stuff. That's how I found this podcast. But it's random how it all works out, really. And I learned a lot I've learned so much from podcasts and videos.
The greatest thing about the Rusty Back Box, though, I'm going to blow myself up now.
Was it you singing the theme tune?
Come on.
Who do you have on? One of them, I had to listen to it twice at work. I was in stitches. I was at work at the college, and I had a day where I'd go down and fix stuff. And I was like, I've got to listen to this again. It's the funniest thing I've ever heard. It might be a quiet taste. You've got to be a Sparky, but I can't remember who it was you had on. It might have been,
I wasn't involved in it. It was 6 episodes that David Savory wrote and directed with Bundy.
Yeah, and you see the feature. No, you're in one. You're the landlord, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
If anyone is listening and then heard this stuff, yeah, go back and dig it out because they're not
my wife,
but some of them are great. Yeah,
it's on our YouTube channel, and my wife is a hooker.
Yeah, that's it. It's on. Listen to it. It's as entertaining as this podcast, but some of it I was on the floor dying because there's some really funny stuff in there. Who'd you have on? James Stinger. That was a good one.
Oh, Jamie.
That's
James Beck.
James Beck. That was it. That's a particularly funny one.
But do you know what was funny? Do you know what was funny? My wife was like, so in the flat I used to live in, so the flats were there, and then there was the garages like in the driveway. So I used to have like my studio in the garage, and Amanda came out one night in her dressing gown, and she's like, "All right, Dave." And like, so I was Skyping Dave at that point, and she came in, and Dave was like, "Well, listen, it's a bit awkward, but could you read this line?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, I'll pull you off behind the fire extinguisher," and stuff like that. Anyway, so she was doing it dressed in her dressing gown. Dave was like, "I'm like," because he's ever the gentleman, and he was like, "Can you say this?" And she's like, and she's saying it in her dressing gown. And then obviously I've got like this vision of what's going on in the Rusty Back Box, which was the pub.
It's brilliant. And what I will say is I love the community thing that Sparkers have. I love it's not massive, but there is a community of people on Twitter and Instagram that do it. And I enjoy being a part of that very much because otherwise you're on your own, aren't you? Doing whatever you do all day. So like there are people out there doing the same stuff as you that like to talk about it. But so yeah, get involved.
I've got to be honest with you. The community can be what.
Oh, it's a double-edged sword. Yeah, it's a double-edged sword. But there's people on there that go out to be dicks, and I still enjoy watching it because they do. And there's people that dick some days and not others. That's me, by the way.
Listen,
I just enjoy being it. Yeah, so have I. I'll wind someone up. I'll put, yeah, mate, you're okay with the 1.5 on a 30-time breaker, just to see the reaction that people will do. But being a part of it, it takes the edge off being a sport, because otherwise you're on your own and you will bump into people like I've ended up on here. I talk to people like Brian Electrical on Twitter, and I get a lot of messages on Instagram that I enjoy interacting. No, that's not Billy Byrne. That's not Billy Byrne. He was just one of the lads on there. He said, give me a shout, so I thought I'd go for it. But yeah, if you
that's the shittest sticker of all time, by the way.
He's got some better ones. I'll get him to send you one. But yeah, it's just nice.
Just don't.
Fucking hell. What's up with you tonight? Because you've been standing. But it's just nice. I love the community bit about it. I only recently discovered it the past couple of years. And it's just nice to be a part of, isn't it? And know that other people do the same thing as you, ask questions. And that's why I think your podcast is still going.
At Monday Club, we're open to all comers. We're not up our own arse. We'll have a conversation with most people. Don't come on here talking about apprenticeships and stuff, because someone else has already got that done. And quite frankly, it's boring. I don't care. I don't care about apprentices. I don't care about anything other than having a good conversation.
You could get an apprentice on here and have a conversation now. No. What? Look, you must be fucking desperate because I'm on here. So look, if you're out there and you think you come on this podcast and talk with us, please put your name forward, because what have I said to you numerous times when we discuss this on text is, I don't like it as two. I prefer it. It's all right for 2 once a month because we've got plenty to talk about tonight.
You don't listen, young Jamie, you're my young Jamie.
It's the point where Sam tells me I'm wrong. This, everyone.
Listen, right? It's as simple as this. Having a third person on is great. If you can find a third person who can talk on a podcast.
That's what we're doing now. We are searching. We're like Pop Idol for the electrical world right now.
There's a lot of call for Kimmy to come back on. I would love Kimmy to come back on. She's more than welcome. Listen, anyone is welcome on our podcast.
Getting them comments, people.
Listen, whether it be the Lord... What's the name of the baddie in Star Wars?
I don't watch Star Wars.
Darth Sidious. That's it. Listen, if it's Darth Sidious of E5, you're more than welcome to come on. Anyone's welcome. It could be... anyone is welcome at any time to come on the podcast. If you've got something interesting to talk about, don't come on here and talk about mental health, right? It's important, but
it's not the place.
This ain't the place. No one suffers from... I sound like Donald Trump now. No one suffers from mental health more than me. Trust me, you don't. Trust me.
We're here to support that. We're here to give someone something to listen to all in the same boat, not to discuss it because we are not medically qualified.
And the thing is, I'm a nutcase. I am fully fledged nuts. Don't listen to me about mental health.
How long we got? Because I will describe this podcast tonight from the original start of it as another roller coaster. In fact, I do like this one. 2's work for this one, but we do want some further real, so get involved. You assholes.
Monday Club, we're out.